Thank you for tuning in to the Nicole Harris Podcast. I am your host, Nicole Harris, and joining me today is my very good friend, Lucky. Thank you so much for coming on. It is a pleasure to always be in your company. Would you like to introduce yourself to the listeners and tell them a little bit about yourself and where you're originally from?
Well, my name is Lucky. First of all, it's my pleasure. It's likewise to, having this chat with you. But my name is Lucky Olise, and I'm from Nigeria.
And can you tell us a little bit about Nigeria and growing up there? What was it like, and is it much different from being in the U.S.?
Not really. As a matter of fact, it's more of a propaganda when I came down here and I saw all the pictures of people that is needy and hungry, and USA is trying to feed people and all that. I never experienced all that when I was back home.
Oh, really?
No.
Isn't that crazy? Because a lot of the images and things that we see here in the U.S. is the very same thing that you're talking about that you saw when you came to the United States.
Exactly.
Isn't it so funny that they only show us pictures of like jungles and things like that and needy people, and it is nothing like that?
No, because the places they show you are reserved area for endangered animals, which is called safari.
Mm-hmm.
So when people always say, I want to go to the safari, in Africa, you think it's an area or a country or a city. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's like you have an area in this country where you have like all the animals roaming around freely. Mm-hmm. Because they've been poached so much, they've been killed so much that they are about to be extinct.
Okay.
Then you have a designated area where when you capture any of the animals, that is about to be extinct. You take that animal to that area, because when you take the animal to that area, what happens that we have every now and then when you're driving, you hit a deer on the road. Like mere accidents like that. I've never seen a wild animal when I was in my country. Mm. It's only when I came down here I started seeing like deers, raccoon, and all kinds of animals.
Really?
Yeah, I seriously, and I was flabbergasted when I start seeing wild animals around you, But I say that by saying, the system here in United States is made to discourage you and my fellow brothers from going to visit the motherland.
Right.
Because if they tell you that place is rough, that place is bad, you don't want to go. But they turn around and tell you about Europe, how beautiful Paris is, how beautiful England is, and all that good places. But if you go, I can challenge anybody to go to Google and Google cities in Africa. If you see the cities, you would think it's in California.
Okay.
So, Africa is not a jungle the way everybody thinks it is.
Right. And so you think it's propaganda?
It is a propaganda. Right. If I give you one example. Everything that you use here in this country and all over the westernized world is from Africa.
Okay.
The cell phone you're using right now.
Yes.
The quota that is making us, speak to each other from a distance is refined in Africa. Diamond in Africa.
Right.
Oil in Africa. All these mineral resources that everybody's enjoying here is in Africa. That Africa is a rich continent, not a country, because there are 52 countries in Africa.
Okay.
So, when we sit down here and say Africa is poor, we're sending money to Africa. Whatever you're using here, whatever you're enjoying in this land or anywhere in the westernized world is from Africa.
Yeah.
If Africa stopped the white people from, harnessing all the mineral resources that they're getting from my land or from any other land in the other countries, the economy of the westernized world will crumble.
Right. And we are so grateful for it.
So,
sure, go ahead.
So, my thing here is that the reason why they use that propaganda, you see, Russia used that same propaganda that they used on my African American brothers and sisters. Okay. Russia used that same propaganda on United States. Because I was talking to one of my Russian friends, and he was telling me, the reason why no Russia wants to come to United States is because what Russia do, they take a video of people in the ghetto and show it to the people of Russia and say that's the way America is.
Wow. So
people don't want to come to America because they think America is like the ghetto.
Wow. I did not know that.
So if there's the same thing that is going back and forth between Russia and United States and Africa. All you need to do is make a plan. Because I was asking one of my friends this morning when I was at work, I was asking him, I said, it dawned on me anyway. I was asking my friend out of curiosity. I was just asking him, has he ever had anybody say they want to go visit Africa? Not anybody, any of my black brothers and sisters here in the United States. He said he has never heard anybody saying that. I say, have you heard anybody talk about going to the cruise? He said, yeah, many times. Going on the cruise to the island. He said, yeah, many times. I said, what about Europe? He said, yep. I said, can't you tell that what is happening here is that we do not want to go visit our own. This is your land now. It's not just my land.
Right.
It's your land too. Because if you go to Africa, Nicole, if you go to Africa right now, nobody will know who you are until you open your mouth and they hear the accent.
Yeah.
You blend easily.
Wow. Right.
So it baffles me that your own inheritance, you don't want your inheritance. Because it belongs to you, regardless of how much you want to deny it. It's undeniable.
That feels so good to hear, because a lot of times they make us feel like that we're so disconnected when we're not.
Yes.
I watch some of the videos sometimes on social media, and I see people, my brothers and sisters from Africa, dancing, and we get up and we join them and we start doing the same dance, and it's just we are connected in so many ways that it's not even funny.
Exactly.
And I just think it's a shame. Here, I have a question for you. This question was talked about on social media a couple of weeks ago, and the person had stated that Black people don't need shots to go to Africa, because in actuality we're really going home. Do you think that we need shots to go back home to Africa? Do you think that we should have to receive shots in order to
do you receive? All right, let me ask you this. Do you receive medical shots when you go to Caribbean?
No, and I don't believe that we should have to have shots in order to go to Africa.
No, you don't. because they're trying to make you feel like that place is diseased, that if you go there you might catch this, you might catch that. The reason why I say the Caribbean is within United States province here, hemisphere. All right. So if you cannot get a shot before you go to Caribbean, which is a tropical area just like Africa,
right?
Why should you get a shot going to Africa?
Exactly. I've never understood that. Like, I don't.
It's all about trying to put fear in you,
Right.
So that you don't go to where you belong.
That's true. I really feel that too.
Because wrong, they attribute it to Africa. A lot. I'm not faulting my brothers and sisters here, because they're going by what they're hearing on the news. But remember one thing. The news, when they say news, anytime you go listen to news, it's nothing but bad.
Right.
They don't have good news. I was a reporter myself. The only time we go out to go report news is when something happens wrong. So, when they come out and start talking about all this, bad things about Africa, that doesn't really make any sense. Even in a normal man's mind, you will even make any sense out of what it's saying about AIDS came from Africa, from a green monkey. Okay, Africa has been the way they've been all these years, all these centuries, all these, millenniums and all. They just started discovering AIDS. Ebola was just discovered just of recent. Why is Ebola not killing people all these years?
Right.
Why did they just discover Ebola? I'll tell you one secret about that.
Okay.
Ebola was discovered in Liberia, right?
Okay.
Liberia, during the days of Marcus Garvey, during the days when they're saying after the abolition of slave trade and everybody started getting their freedom, and Marcus Garvey came up with this idea about Africans going back home. So they created a place called Liberia. Liberia is liberation. That's what it means. Liberation, liberty. So when you hear the country called Liberia, remember one thing: if you look at their flag is just like American flag, but only one star.
Okay.
America is the one that created that. We got that land and let all the brothers and sisters come back home. So they created that country for them.
Oh.
So the country is called Liberia. All right. This country now, America has so much control over this country. So when they're trying to do any biological test or any type of research you want to do that is going to involve human beings, they go there and use that area, use the people in that area for experimentation. So when that happens, then you start saying, oh, remember one thing now, it has happened to us here in the United States during the Tuskegee experiment.
Right.
So if they can do it to us here in the United States, what makes you think they can't do it to them over there?
Right. Right. Wow.
My main qualm with the whole thing is that we fail to realize that we just like you said initially, we have a whole lot in common. Not even having a whole lot in common, we are one. It's just they have this policy or philosophy in the old about divide to conquer. Have you ever heard of the Willie Lynch theory?
Yes.
Okay, that's exactly what they're still using on us right now. They pit us against one another.
Right.
One of my co-worker, I call him an African. I was just joking. I call him an African. This guy it changed 360 degrees. He said, I'm no GD African.
Wow.
It was mad. That's to show you the effect of the propaganda being perpetrated on us here.
Yes. Lucky, I want to switch gears with you. I want to ask you, what do you think about China now being so present in Africa now?
Well, one thing about Africa, the presence of each colonized or powered country that control the world, it starts from Africa. All right. When Rome was about to rule the world, they started from Africa. United Kingdom, Britain, was about to rule the world. They started from Africa. Now, United States rule the world. They started from Africa. The new power that is coming up now is China. And that's why their presence is in Africa. Remember what I told you before. If Africa stopped the rest of the westernized world from coming there, harnessing their raw minerals, their mineral resources, the rest of the world will go bankrupt. The power is in our land. And when I say in our land, not my land, not just my land, it's my land and your land.
Right.
Until we wake up, realize all the blacks in every other country realize that Africa is where they belong. Africa, put all your, just like Akon was saying, if all the rich black people outside Africa decide to invest in Africa, no other country can match Africa. None.
I believe that.
So what China is doing now, China is pumping money into Africa. I'm telling you, mark my word, China is going to be the next superpower.
Okay.
Mark my word. United States is losing its grip.
I believe that.
If you look at all the things that is going on now, China is in control of the Asian area. They are putting all their tentacles in all the countries in Africa. Look at United States owe China trillions of dollars.
Right.
So we are in debt to China. And this is 25 years ago, Nicole. 25 years ago, China was a third world country.
Right.
Just 25 years ago. But look at where they are now. So I'm saying the same way China can galvanize all their people to stand firm for the goodness of China. Same way we Africans, because you are African, that's what I told the guy at my job. I said, you are African,
right,
born in America.
Uh-huh.
So that makes you an African American.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is very tough to handle, because he doesn't want to realize himself as an African. You're looking at yourself in the mirror. You don't look like you don't look like anybody from Europe.
Right.
Your identity is the identity of an African. But still, when they call you African, you get upset. It amazes me. It really amazes me. Africa, like I told you from the start of this discussion, China is in Africa because of all the goods. If you have the goods, you have the power. If you have the goods, you have the money. If you have the money, you got the power.
That's a fact.
So when you ask me about China, that's the reason why China is in Africa.
Lucky, can I ask, what is your solution of bringing together Africa and the blacks in America? We know that the rich people are not going to do it because they're comfortable. And a lot of them, the celebrities and wealthy 1% over here, are kept in there in the select group. So we know they're not going to do anything. So it's up to us to save us. So what do you think that we can do or start to do in order to build not only wealth, but because my thing is this, I just don't believe, I believe, and I hate to say this, but some people are just they're not going to ever get it. Just like you said, your coworker. I don't know if one day he'll wake up and have an aha moment and understand what we're talking about. I believe some people are going to get it and some people are just not. So what do you think for the people who do get it, who do embrace Africa, who are looking for solutions? How do we start? Do we start with small cells or groups of people? Is it education that is going to help us?
You know what's the best education? Traveling.
Yeah.
If you physically go to Africa, every brothers and sisters that I've encountered that has been to Africa and came back, their ideology of Africa changes. Right. The way they look at Africans in United States change. They start embracing more of their culture, which is an African culture.
Right.
They start being proud of themselves. Because, in history, if you don't know your past, you won't know where you're heading to. You know what I told this guy that was upset with me?
What's that?
And it's a fact. I said, you're upset because I call you an African born in America. I said, why are you mad about that? I don't see Africans being shot in Africa for no reason, but they use us for target practice in this country. Every time you turn around, there's one young man, one young brother being shot down for some flimsy reason. And that same white policeman that shot my brother down, they give him a vacation, paid leave for shooting my brother. And it comes back and it says jury of his peers. What kind of peers are those? You saw this thing on video. You saw this guy running away. And this white man shoot my brother down, running away. And they're going to plant something on him. Look at a young black boy playing in the park.
Right.
Shot for no reason because he's playing with a toy gun.
Right.
But flip it around. Look at how many white folks carry automatic rifle, go to a gathering and shoot so many people. One person kills so many people. One person now kills so many people. And what happens to that person? Apprehended without any gunfire to that person. And this same person can have an Uzi on his hand, shooting people. But they want to save him. They don't want to kill him. But you're going to see a brother of mine have a cell phone on his hands, and you're going to say you thought it's a gun. What kind of excuse is that?
Right.
Or you're going to say you fear for your life and choke somebody saying he can't breathe. You know that person cannot breathe. You still choking that person till that person die over a pack of cigarettes or selling cigarettes, stick of cigarettes. You know, when I look at all this, I start asking myself, why are we so much into this culture here when we have a rich culture in Africa that we can embrace?
Right.
The African culture don't kill. The African culture loves. But we don't want to see that. Because the white man, this is something that is being taught from childhood. Your mother was taught, your great grandfather was taught not to like where they came from. So it goes from one generation to generation. So that's why I said I'm not faulting my brothers and sisters here, but they got to wake up.
Right.
And see what is being perpetrated on them. How can one white man called Tarzan go to Africa and can talk to animals? And these Africans are being around these animals cannot talk to them. Isn't that stupid? And on TV and everybody believe it. And this same Tarzan this thing is shot in California. You know, that when I first came to United States, you know what somebody asked me?
What?
He said, when did I start putting clothes on? From the
airport? Oh my God. Wow.
He said, when did I start having my clothes on? From the airport? Did they give you clothes at the airport? You know, it's amazing. You know, it boils down to one thing: it's just mere ignorance.
It is, and a lot of those things, like we were talking at the beginning of the conversation, that is the only thing that we saw on TV. I remember as a child growing up, is children in Africa with no clothes on, flies flying around them. And we feel sad, and it was a hurting feeling. I remember to see that. It was very damaging to me as a child growing up to see that, to see Africa in that way. It took a long time and a lot of learning and relearning to understand that Africa is nothing like that. It's probably more cities than over here. And you know, I feel like here's my whole big thing. If we weren't so powerful, then why wouldn't they be trying so hard and so many angles to keep us oppressed if it wasn't something special about us? Because if you listen to us through our music about killing each other, about this self-hatred, we don't love each other. If we don't love each other, of course we can't love where we come from. We can't even look at ourselves in the mirror and love our own Black self.
Exactly.
And you have to ask yourself, what is it about you, Black man, and me, Black woman, that they want to continue to do so many things to keep us oppressed and from knowing the truth. What is it about us that they don't want us to know?
Because they know that if that movement that Marcus Garvey started had gone through, and all the Africans here went back home, this United States won't be United States. Because what is moving this country right now, even at this moment, if not for us, United States won't be United States.
Yes, that's a fact.
It is a fact. Look, I'll give you one example. Go to one store and they discriminate against you, and you tell one or two people, and they go and start protesting. That store will change. We try to cater to you by all means possible. You know why? We moved the economy. We had the buying power.
Right.
That's only one. Only one concept of what I'm trying to make you understand here. We have the buying power in this country. We call it impulsive buyers. We may have, say, $1,000 right now. Want to go buy some bling bling. That money will be scratching our pocket to come out so we can go buy something. All right?
Right.
The white man will have money. They've been trained from birth to invest. They won't buy. You see somebody so rich still going to Goodwill buying clothes.
Right.
But we want to buy the most expensive thing. We live in an apartment, want to drive the most luxurious car.
Right.
Why you think sometimes when you see all this commercial, they use all this hip hop song in the background?
Right. Because
why don't they use Beethoven? You get my idea here.
Yes.
Okay, that's one part of it. If you look at the creation of this country was created on our backs.
Right.
Still being created on our backs. They say slavery is over with, right?
Yeah, they
But
say.
it's not. Because the prison house is another form of slavery.
Right.
They make you go for some flimsy infraction. They sentence you to X amount of months or years in prison. All right? While you're in prison, they say the only way you can get a little bit of a taste of freedom, because you're locked up, is for you to go do some manual labor. Go work in some agricultural farm.
For pennies.
Do some job. But guess how much they pay you for that job in a day?
Pennies.
75 cents a day. Locked up. That's modern day slavery.
But look at how now they're going to legalize marijuana, but people are still locked up for marijuana. Can somebody explain that to me?
No, you see, that's it. Look at how they've been locking up mothers and sisters and brothers and fathers all this time for one little ounce of crack cocaine is 5 years.
Wow.
1 little ounce of powder cocaine is either probation, because powder cocaine is being used by white and crack cocaine is being used by black.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Then there's another one again. They've been incarcerating us for all this time for crack cocaine. Marijuana, like you said, most of the states now legalizing it. And they're still locking us up for it. Right?
Right.
And not only that, they themselves are addicted to opioid addicted.
Right.
what they do about that case, because it's majority whites that is being addicted.
Right.
They created an avenue for insurance to cover that, not to lock them up like they've been locking us up.
Right.
But for insurance to cover them up, for them to have rehab. If police catch them, opioid addicted, they can take them to a rehab, not lock them up.
Wow.
The system now is fighting for insurance to cover their addiction. While we've been incarcerated for having crack, and they're all drugs. Why is the disparity?
Right. Wow.
Until we wake up and start seeing how, the way we've been treated is completely different.
Right.
Look at the new sentence of this Paul Manafort. For less than 3 years, this man is gonna be out. They're gonna see a young child now that's about 17 years old just stole a backpack. He got 25 years. Can you justify that?
Wow.
Can anybody justify that?
No.
You see, when I keep telling people, people don't understand the reason why all this is taking place. A white man can commit a crime right now. The system will try to make sure that white man don't get a felony charge. You know why?
Why?
Because if that white man has a felony charge, what is going to happen to that white man? The white man will never in his life own a gun. The empowerment of the white race is one of, you see, when they say justice, when they say somebody is a criminal, there's a lot of things that were criminal in the old. A white man or a white woman getting married to a black person, it was a crime then. Just to see a black and a white person being together in the old was a crime.
Right.
Who came up with that idea? Who came up with that rule? It's them. So if you look at the system here, the system is not blind to the fact that it don't realize colors. The system itself is one-sided. It's not justice. It's just us.
That's good. I have to ask you, in the election that's coming up, we're going to switch gears to politics. With the election coming up for the 2020 race, what do you think about they're now trying to talk about reparations that we were never given for stolen labor? What do you think about the 2020 election coming up and reparations?
When Barack Obama became president, did we have reparation?
No.
Okay. If we didn't have it then, because reparation was given to us before and was taken back, we're not going to get reparation. All those are something they keep dangling in front of us. If you're going to pay, if you're going to have reparation, how many people you're going to take care of? They already said. You remember what Donald Trump said a long time ago? Our reparation is the food stamp and the welfare we're living in.
We don't receive welfare as much as white people.
You see, but they don't understand that majority of the people receiving food stamp and welfare are white. And until we, I'm just mainly concentrating on us.
Right.
Until we wake up and start self-hating. That's when the amendments, the healing is going to start. Okay. Until we stop self-hating, because even here in the United States, the Northerners always talk bad about the Southerners. The Southerners talk about the Northerners, and every one of us are black.
Right.
Then the light skin talk bad about the dark skin talk bad about the light skin. All these are Willie Lynch plan that he wants us to divide us so bad.
Exactly.
I remember a long time ago, I was reading this book how they used to put two brothers just for entertainment. The white folks, those are in the old days. They will give them alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
They drink alcohol, feed them alcohol, then want them to fight each other
to the death.
Till the death. They want to see who is going to kill who is stronger. You know, they're talking about Holocaust. We've gone through worse things than Holocaust.
Right.
You know they used to breed us like animal.
Yes.
They will look a strong mother and a strong son and breed them together.
Mm.
That's the reason why when people start using that word MF, it sickens my belly because they don't know where it came from.
Oh my goodness.
When people talk in this MF this, MF that, you know, you don't know exactly where it came from. That's where it came from.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where it came from. So when people start using that word, they need to check their language. That's why I don't. When it comes to curse words, I don't call me no N word. Don't call me no MF.
Right.
Because those are the things that we went through.
Right.
We can't be reliving that again by us calling ourselves that. I was telling one of my friends, he said, well, that don't mean anything. It's spelled differently. Even if it's spelled differently, it sounds the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, he says it's term of endowment. How can it be term of endowment? How are you going to be calling yourself a derogatory name and you call it a term of endowment? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay.
But, you know, talking about Kamala Harris and the election and Cory Booker and
Bernie Sanders.
All the women, we got enough white men in the presidency. Let's see if we can get either we get another black again, or we get women. Women more especially are more in tune to making sure that a woman wins the primary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we need a woman representative. I strongly believe that a woman president would do this country a whole world of good.
Me too. I want Michelle Obama, but we can't get everything we want.
No, that's true. Me, I want her too.
Yeah.
That's my girl.
Yeah, we really want her, but I think she's seen too much.
Yeah. She's seen too much on the sideline.
Yeah.
But you know, you never know. Probably in the future she might get the fire in her belly after the children are grown and wants to go for it. You remember Hillary Clinton did the same thing?
Yeah. I don't want her.
Huh?
I feel like she's seen too much. I feel like she's done too much. I really don't want the Clintons. I feel like their time is coming past. You know, I'm really looking for especially a black woman.
Kamala Harris is in the right place, because the reason why I say that she's been in high political seat before. The only thing I can say about Kamala Harris is she don't have foreign affairs experience.
Okay.
When it comes to judicial experience, she has a whole lot.
Right.
Because she's been an attorney general, a DA in California before. So, you know, she's a senator now. She has held a series of political position before now. Right. So I know if Donald Trump, that is dumb as a doorknob, can be a president, a goat can be a president. That's the truth.
Right. That's exactly right. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah, but you know, if one of us didn't win it, I want a woman to win it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You know, I will go campaign and do all the footwork for that person.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump got to go.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, and I got to ask, with, you know, we were talking about all the things that were designed, how the system was designed and set up for us to stay oppressed. Even if we got someone into office, like you said, we had Barack Obama, he had 8 years.
The reason why is because Barack Obama, you know, yes, granted, he's the president. But because he's the president, we have what they call three arms of government.
Right.
The executive, the judiciary, and the legislative.
Right.
All right. And these are three equal branches of government. Mm-hmm. One cannot override the other. You see what is going on now in the White House? That Donald Trump thinks because he's the president, he can do anything. He's beginning to see it now when Nancy Pelosi showed him that, you know, because you're president does not mean you have all the power.
That's right.
They have what they call checks and balances.
Right.
You know, so these checks and balances put all these three arms of government to check each other. Because Barack Obama was the president does not mean he has the autonomous power to do everything he wants to. Even there was, you see, a lot of us blacks were saying, what did Barack Obama do? He didn't do anything. Look at what Donald Trump has been canceling. Every time you turn around, is slashing everything that Barack Obama has done.
Yes, that's yeah.
So if he hasn't done anything, what is Donald Trump slashing then?
That's true.
This man put all these things in place to eat, not for the white folks, to ease us minorities. Mm-hmm. Because I remember when he was contesting for presidency, he told stories about the mother, that the mother died of cancer. Uh-huh. And when the mother died of cancer was because the mother did not have insurance. They canceled the mother's insurance because she has pre-existing condition. That's why this was Barack Obama's baby. When he got into the White House, he wants to make sure nobody else suffered like the mother suffered.
Okay.
So he made sure that, you know, pre-existing condition must be canceled.
Okay.
And that's the same thing now that a lot of all these Republicans they've been fighting so hard since Barack Obama implemented it.
Okay.
They've been fighting hard to cancel it, but they cannot do it because of the power of the people. Right. You see the reason why Democrats won landslide this midterm election is because of that. It's not because of anything else. Right. Because they saw that Republicans want to kill this Obamacare. Mm. And that was the number one thing they said they voted for Democrats for, because of that Obamacare. So Obama did a lot of things.
Okay.
And the reason why I was saying I would like either a black person or a woman to be in the presidential seat is because white men don't know anything about suffering. Women know a whole lot about suffering.
Right.
All these white men, even Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders can come and talk all that good talk. Women that went through a whole lot. Because when you're going through a whole lot, you've seen other people that is going through the same thing with you.
Right.
You have that chance to empathize with the masses because you've been there.
Right.
And you don't want nobody to repeat the same thing you went through.
Right.
So you fight hard for that, for everybody else. But if a white man will just look at it in a cave, like, okay, let's go to the next thing. A white woman or a black woman, a woman, period, that has been there, suffered a whole lot, we say no. We gotta tackle this problem.
Right.
And the reason why I want a woman, not a white woman, just a woman, period, to take over is because women see things in a different way than men will see. Women are very meticulous. My father called me one time when I was young and pointed at my younger sister. He said, "You see that girl there?" Because my father used to talk a lot. I said, yes. He said, that girl is way smarter than you are. I thought my father was insulting me. I thought my father was calling me dumb. I said, but why? That's my baby sister. He said, no. He said, women develop faster. Women have greater knowledge about things. They are very meticulous than men. I did not know that my father is looking at the way his children and other people's children are. The boys are not careless. But the women are very, very caring and motherly. And, they look at things in detail.
Right.
It's just like now, if you come to my house, you know it's not, a woman doesn't live here because my house is in a big shambles. But if a woman is living with me, if I have a woman in the house, I bet you one thing. I'm not saying a woman should do all the cleaning, but like if I mess up anything, she would tell me to go put it up.
Right.
But because I'm the only one here, I put it up. I say I'll get it later on. You see it down there wherever.
Right.
That's why they always say, for every good man, for every strong man, there's a good woman behind the man.
Right.
And I strongly believe that.
Me too. So
that's why I want a woman to be president, the next president, because I'm done with Donald Trump. I'm really done with that man.
Everybody's done with him.
It gives me a headache every time. This is the only president I know. Every week there's a breaking news.
Because it's just like his talk show. It's a show to him. It's a game.
Yeah.
Rating.
Every week there's always a breaking news, if not every day.
Yeah.
So enough of him. I strongly believe if you put anybody before him, that person will win next election. Anybody.
I hope so.
It don't matter who it is. So that's my take to the election thing. I would like a woman to win.
Okay.
I like a woman to win because, I think we need the taste of a woman in that White House.
I think so. I think it's time.
We always call ourselves what do you want, lady? We call ourselves the leader of the free country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great Britain had women president. France had women president.
Mm-hmm.
Germany has women president. India has women president. All this westernized world had their own female president. The only country that has never had a female president is United States. But we call ourselves the leader of the free country.
That's right.
So if we're that free, why don't you free our women to take charge too? Because your brain is not bigger than a woman's brain. We are all the same. We all equal.
That's right.
We're not supposed to be subservient to anyone. Women are not supposed to be subservient to men, and men is not supposed to be subservient to women. They're supposed to be equal. They come in different directions, but they have one goal.
Right.
That's why we have left and right hand. The right hand is not as strong as the left hand, and the left hand is not as strong as the right hand. But when they hold stuff together, it's stronger.
That's true.
We talk about electricity. If there's no negative and positive, we won't have light.
That's right.
So, women, I just feel like we got to put a woman in the White House. Yeah.
And you know what, Lucky? I have had the greatest time learning from you. It has been so good, so refreshing. I have learned so much. I have missed talking to you.
Well, likewise.
Usually when we're having a conversation, there's usually some spades involved, but this, I'll take the conversation, the knowledge, the wisdom, however I can get it. This podcast, having you on, has meant so much to me. I want to thank you.
No, thank you.
That you took the time to share this with us. You just don't understand. I have a lot of new outlooks and new perspectives on how I now see things because of this conversation.
Oh, thank you.
And I ask that you please come back on the podcast again and share even more wisdom and more guidance to help us, because we need it. We need to hear the truth.
Well, I appreciate that. And, I really, truly enjoy speaking with you. I miss our get together. We used to get together and just shoot breeze and have fun.
Right.
My brother just discarded me like a like a toilet tissue. Tell him that I am very, very mad at him.
I'll tell him.
I really missed you all. Miss you all and Amy. And send my love to everybody. And I'm looking forward to us having this discussion again. And I'll end by saying, no matter what you do, it doesn't cost that much. Believe me, it really do not cost that much. All you need to do, just invest in trying to go visit the motherland.
Okay.
If you want us to go together, if you're scared of going by yourself and you're looking for an African that will go with you, so at least you feel comfortable, I will volunteer myself.
Yes, let's do it.
Because one thing I want, the reason why I love this discussion is because, lady, stop. The reason why I love this discussion is because it shows me that you are really, really, really interested in knowing exactly your route.
Yeah.
And the only way you can know it, darling, is what you're doing right now. Do not give it up.
I won't. And thank you.
Because a lot of people will learn from your inspiration.
Well, thank you for that. And we're going to leave it there with the last word. And again, I want to thank you all for joining in to the Nicole Harris Podcast. I'm going to continue to keep bringing you the best that I have for information, for entertainment, and everything in between. And this has been Nicole Harris, and I'll see you out there.